Hey, Roger Stewart here with another episode of the Roundup series where I talk about multiple things in regards to the Second Amendment. I don't go into great detail, but rather I just big picture it and more intended for those who maybe don't have a lot of time on their hands but still want to stay informed around the Second Amendment. Today on the Roundup, we're going to be talking about ATF's new pistol brace rule, Maryland gun control, National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, and constitutional carry in Nebraska. Okay, we're going to be talking about all that. We're going to get into that right now. Okay, so first we're going to be talking about ATF's new rule on firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Okay, we're talking about pistol braces, all right? So basically, ATF, they've been gonna do this for a while. They tried quite a long time ago. I don't remember exactly when it was the first time. Anyway, it wasn't able to happen the first time. There was a good amount of public outcry and whatnot. Anyway, they've been saying they were gonna do it for a while. Again, we've been waiting on the final rule to drop. Okay, it was gonna drop in December. Didn't happen. It got pushed back to January. Here we are. Okay, 1 week ago, actually, while I was recording last week's roundup, it dropped. Okay, so basically, if basically what this says, it takes firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Okay, pistol braces, AR pistols, AK pistols, other firearms that fall into that class with these arm braces are basically now considered to be unlawful SBRs, okay, short barreled rifles. There are factoring criteria, okay, in where maybe very few firearms might not be considered SBRs, but almost all the common ones, almost all of them are going to, according to the ATF, now be unlawful SBRs. Even though the ATF said these braces were fine for years, and now they just decide, oh, I'm going to change my mind. We're going to change our mind, okay? Um, so, it's obnoxious, right? We knew it was going to be obnoxious. It is. Okay, so, I'm not going into a lot of detail, okay? There's tons of people making videos who are more informed than me, okay? You got Guns and Gadgets, Washington Gun Law, John Crump News, right? The list goes on, right? Um, but yeah, basically, the takeaway from this is, yes, this is more ATF overreach. Yes, this is unconstitutional. All the things. ATF is a rogue agency, as we know, okay? If you own a firearm with an attached stabilizing brace, an arm brace, okay? If you own that, you're going to want to look into this and figure out what your options are and figure out what the best choice is for you. If you can talk to a Second Amendment attorney, probably not a bad idea, okay? Um, yeah, simply, all right. If you have one, you got to do that, okay? If you were planning to get one, definitely look into this as well. Like I said, there's plenty of good videos out here on this issue, okay? So that's really all I'm gonna say. I'm not going into too much detail. I've still got a lot of things that I need to look into myself in regards to this rule change, but yeah, the point is, if you own one, figure out what's going on, what your options are, what you need to do, okay? Because there's a lot of people, unfortunately, who are like they're gun owners, but they're not super into the politics. These people simply aren't gonna know about this, okay? When this rule takes effect, which is 120 days after it's published in the Federal Registry, there's going to be people who don't know about this. They don't even hear about it, and they're gonna be they're going to become felons overnight, which is, of course, what the ATF wants. Okay, so gotta avoid that, right? If you own one of these firearms, figure out what you need to do about it. If you know somebody who owns one of these firearms, tell them, okay? Let them know what's going on. We don't want the ATF to win on this one. Their goal is to make people felons overnight, therefore make more prohibited people, therefore, further infringing on the Second Amendment, okay? Got to keep this in mind. Got to keep an eye on this. You know, Definitely got to keep an eye on it. This is a developing situation, okay? There's potentially options in where this could be, stopped, right? Obviously, lawsuits are going to start rolling out, which is great. Can't wait to see those. Other things there, um, there's people in Congress looking to try and introduce bills and whatnot to potentially overrule this, or stop this, or whatever you might say. There's a bill kicking around to abolish the ATF, okay, from Representative Matt Gaetz out of Florida, okay. That's a fun bill, but something like that ain't going to go nowhere, in my opinion. In any case, point is, this is developing. Got to keep an eye on it. Got to know what you need to do. And that's it. So I'm going to move on. Okay, so now what we're going to be talking about is the state of Maryland. Okay, so after the opinion in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, and where that struck down states from having may issue licensing schemes. New York responded to that with their CCIA, okay, Concealed Carry Improvement Act. And then other states did that as well. California, New Jersey, probably at least one more that I'm not thinking of. Anyway, Maryland's turn to respond. This is essentially like New York's CCIA, but somehow worse. From Maryland, okay. Two bills, okay. You got Senate Bill 1 and Senate Bill 118, okay. Both of these basically restrict the carrying of firearms basically everywhere in the state, okay? All public places, all private places. And the distance, like basically they name all these different public and private places that you can't carry, and 100 feet around all those locations, okay? That effectively makes the whole state, or like 95% of the state, probably a gun-free zone, which is in direct violation of the Bruin decision, where they said you can't make the whole state a gun-free zone, okay? So this is outrageous. This is obnoxious. I don't really expect anything less from a state like Maryland, okay? Why am I even talking about this? Because, New York has this, California has this, New Jersey has this. It's a trend at this point, right? New York did it. Others started to follow, okay? That's going to continue. Every state that follows is doing it somehow even worse than the last. It's a trend, not a good one. As Second Amendment people, we need to do our best to stand against this. However, and unfortunately, Maryland has a Democrat supermajority, okay? This will quite possibly pass. Yes, it'll eventually get struck down as unconstitutional, which it is. But that it'll still get you in that meantime, right? Which is better than nothing to these gun grabbers. So got to keep this in mind if you live in Maryland. Wow, that's unfortunate. Do your best. Contact your representatives. All the things that you can do to try and prevent this. This is an unfortunate situation. This may be coming to your state, unfortunately, at some point, as well as all these states are following one another and also trying to one-up one another in taking people's rights and infringing on the Second Amendment. So this is nothing good. be aware of it, especially if you live in Maryland, but really any anti-gun states. Okay, that is what it is. So nothing really more to say there. Okay, so the first couple topics of this episode of the Roundup were some pretty bad news, right? Nothing good. Now, the rest of this episode, two more topics. Good news, okay? So, what we're talking about right now is National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act has been resubmitted this session, okay? HR 38, National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, again, has been resubmitted for this session, okay? Will this pass? Hopefully, probably not. It is not passed before, but, it's just thought that counts, I guess, right? It's still, even though these pro-gun bills don't usually pass, it's still nice to see them, right? It's refreshing to see them, even though they probably won't pass, but maybe it'll pass, right? It's possible. We'll see. Something to keep an eye on. HR 38, definitely got to keep an eye on it. It would be really nice if it did pass, okay? Real quick, I'll say what that is. It basically means whatever your concealed carry situation is in your state. Like here in Washington, you have to have a CPL. Yes, we have a CPL here in this state. So basically, if you live in this state and you want to go into Oregon, if this were to pass, you could do that, right? Like right now, if you are able to carry in the state of Washington, you can't necessarily conceal carry your gun into Oregon legally. This is just an example, of course. But if this were to pass, you would be able to. Your Washington state CPL would be recognized in Oregon if this were to pass, or any other state like that. Additionally, if you live in a constitutional carry state, like let's say you live in Idaho and you use constitutional carry and you want to come into this state of Washington, you would also be able to do that. A valid Idaho driver's license would be good enough for you to carry in this state. So it basically means your Second Amendment rights don't stop at a dotted line on a map, which is great, okay? So that's what the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act is. It would be really nice if it did pass. We'll see. In any case, something worth keeping an eye on. So I wanted to mention it, okay? So that's pretty good news, right? Okay, last but not least, talking about Nebraska. Constitutional carry bill has been submitted in Nebraska. Okay, that's going to be legislative bill 77 in Nebraska. Okay, constitutional carry. Yes, it's constitutional carry season. Okay, last year we got 4 new constitutional carry states, which was great. Those were Indiana, Ohio, Alabama, Georgia. I believe it was 4. It was at least those 4. Let me know if there's one I'm forgetting, but I think it was those 4. Other states, including Nebraska and Florida, came up short. Didn't make it happen last year, okay? So let's hope Nebraska can get it done this year, get this passed, get constitutional carry. This year, that would be really nice, okay? The next state to become constitutional carry, I think we'll get at least one this year, hopefully like 2, 3, 4 again, something like that. But the next state to become constitutional carry is gonna, then more than half of our states are gonna be constitutional carry. Currently, there's 25. The next one will make 26, more than half the states. That would be great. It's a great message. It's a good look, okay? So let's hope Nebraska can make it happen. I'm also really hoping Florida can make it happen. And there's other states that want this as well. I'm hearing South Carolina, Virginia, Wisconsin, I think Louisiana, okay? There's other states that want this as well. So, let's hope we can get at least, we got 4 last year. Let's hope we can get 4 this year. For new constitutional carry states, that'd be great. big win. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that it is constitutional carry season. These bills are going to start rolling out. I believe I believe those 4 states became constitutional carry last year. I think it was like by July, or maybe even earlier than that it happened. So yes, this is that time to be keeping an eye on constitutional carry. Okay, that's really all there is to say on that. Well, this has been another episode of the Roundup. Hope you learned something you didn't know already. That's the point of this series. If you want to continue seeing episodes of this series, you can subscribe to my channel. You can let me know in the comments if there's anything else you would like to see on my channel. And and on the roundups, right? You can just, if there's a topic you want to see me cover on the roundup, just put it in the comments of the previous week's roundup, and I will, consider talking about it. Assuming I know, what's going on with it. So you can let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see on the roundup or on my channel in general. Anyway, that's going to be all for this week. So I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye.